Daylilies are one of the most attractive and rewarding perennials that we can grow in our garden, and they're quite easy too. Their main requirement is they want lots of good sunlight to bloom well. Every few years, though, you'll notice that your daylily clumps get a little crowded and the blooms will start to diminish. So it's time to divide those daylilies, and then you'll have lots more daylilies to put in other areas of your garden or share with your friends. It's fairly simple to do. I like to do this in the fall. Typically, you're going to divide plants in the season opposite the time that they bloom, so fall is ideal for the daylilies. You may still have some blooms on some varieties of daylilies, but you can go ahead and divide them even if that's the case. You can divide them just about any time of year, but I think the fall they have a better chance to recover when the temperatures are a little bit cooler, and then they'll still have time to set buds and have wonderful bloom for the following spring. Now, when you have a large clump of daylilies, you'll use a spading fork and just gently pry up the clump around, going all the way around the plant and loosening that soil. And you'll pull out a big clump that looks like this. And I like to set these aside, put a damp sheet over them while I prepare the soil, and I like to get the soil prepared before I go into dividing the daylilies. So that's what I have here. Now, I like to take a water hose and just wash most of the soil off of the daylilies. You can knock off what you can and then wash off the soil, and it's easier to divide those roots because the roots tend to get very interlaced together and they can be a little bit difficult to divide. Now, one thing you might find on some of your daylilies is a flower scape that looks like this. I do like to cut the old flower scapes off, but some daylilies will actually form new plants along the old flower stalk. And so you can cut this flower stalk here and stick that down in the soil. This little stem will anchor it, and if it has contact with the soil, this will produce new roots and you've got a new plant. And then this one would do the same thing. So that's kind of another fun way to get new daylilies from your plants. Now, here's some plants that I've cleaned the roots. If you've got any broken roots or roots that look brown or shriveled, you'll want to trim those off. And sometimes you can just pull the plants apart. Sometimes that's not so easy, so you might take a screwdriver and just kind of work that through to gently pry those plants apart. And sometimes you'll end up with a group of two daylilies together, and you can leave that if you need to, if they seem like they're too stuck together. And then you're going to prepare your soil with lots of compost, a good well-balanced fertilizer, and because they do appreciate some food, and have a nice loose soil. And again, full sun is very important. One problem with daylilies is that deer love them. So if you have a garden that's full of deer, you'll want to just avoid the daylilies if in a deer garden. When you get the daylilies all divided, take some scissors and just give those leaves a little bit of a haircut, because you've trimmed away some of the root hairs, and it's going to make it easier for them to produce again and recover from all this dividing. Make a nice little mound in the soil, and then you're going to put the daylily root in, and I like to line them up so that the daylilies will show up better as they're starting to bloom. And then I just very lightly cover the roots of the plant. You don't want to go more than about an inch above the base of the plant here with your soil and mulch. So consider that you're going to be adding a little bit of mulch. So you don't want to pull the soil up too much, but press that, firm it in the ground, and then water it very deeply. You can give it a light sprinkling of a seaweed or fish emulsion fertilizer, and these plants will just take off and do beautifully for you. And you'll have wonderful blooms. Now, the blooms of daylilies are edible too. They're a great cut flower, and they come in every color from yellow to orange to even reds now that are really fabulous. You can buy expensive daylilies, or you can find some of the old wild varieties of daylilies. There are just so many different daylilies that you can enjoy in your garden, so give them a chance. They'll really be a spectacular bloom for you.